Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop.
We finished up racking up the screwdrivers in the last video. We're going to move on to the rest of the stuff in this box and see if we can't get some of the stuff off the shelves onto the racks.
Now the rest of the stuff in this box is not screwdrivers that belong in the screwdriver rack. It's things like these saws. Now, this saw is an antique. It belongs on display, but it doesn't need to be right there. It can go over on the wall rack over the workbench, but it really doesn't need to be something that I get to a lot. I don't use a plunge saw very often. This is a leather working tool, along with this one. They're for cutting out circular, I don't know, something that would go behind a conch on a saddle or a fancy pair of boots. And I don't use them right now, but they came home with me, and I do work with leather every once in a while, so I'm keeping them. These ended up on the magnetic bar just because I wanted to get them off the bench. They've been sitting on the bench for a long time. They came home, they're rusty and dirty and need to be cleaned and oiled. So they should go someplace where they get attention, but not any place where they're in the way all the time. Basketball inflation tool. Here's another one. They could live in the same package. That way when I lose one, I lose both of them instead of losing one and then finding it and losing it and finding it. Now this little thing, it's handy. It's a stud finder. The hole in it is too small to go over a peg. I'm going to try and stick a rubber band through the hole and see if I can't make a loop with this rubber band. I can't really believe I was successful with that. But that makes me happy. I'm going to hang it up here. It'll be someplace I can find it. This is a magnetic tag. And this is a little scraper. Most of the stuff left in here, it serves no useful purpose. This is a casting that my son made in college. It's a lost foam casting of a little man. Looks like a little mech. It sits on the bench just because it's from my son. This ferrule and handle will go on a draw knife that is somewhere around here on the racks. One of the problems with having all this stuff, things get lost. They're there, there's just so much clutter that I can't see them. When I get something like this, I try and keep the pieces together. I've found that masking tape works for most of it. Yes, duct tape would work, but duct tape has a problem. It is really sticky, and it tends to make things so clogged up that you have to end up cleaning the duct tape off of them. So going into the new year, we're going to try and be a little more organized. That means that some of this stuff will have to find other places to be, just because it serves no useful purpose where it's living now. As part of the organization process, I said I wanted to put this screwdriver and this screwdriver on this board. It's a good home for them. It's a place they should be. that happen, I need to drill a hole big enough to handle this thing and this one. But these two actually can be interchangeable. This one only grips this handle, and this one grips a multitude of drivers, so it should live somewhere near these. Now, I've had this off in the far left corner of the bench. That's been kind of awkward. Hard to get to, hard to get things into or out of it. It's a great little tool rack. It handles hex drivers very well. But I think I need to have it someplace where I can get to it easier. Because having a tool that you can't reach easily means that you don't use it very much. So these two little guys are going to go in this rack, and then this is going to sit off to the right of it. Now some of you might be thinking, but wait a minute, that's going to interfere with the sawtill. Well, the sawtill sets here, and it does work. It's putting too much load on this 1/4 inch pegboard. The masonite isn't strong enough to handle that kind of torque. I did go through and put another set of hooks on it to increase the load capacity, but I'm just putting too many saws on it. And I don't want to break up the pegboard. And I really do like having the sawtill here, especially for the saws that I've got here to work on, because they're right here in front of me. I see them all the time. It's something to remind me to work on them. But I'm going to be using some scrap lumber to make a sawtill. It's a little sturdier. It's going to hold more saws and hold them securely. And then I'm going to start reducing the number of dull and damaged saws that I have, either by attrition or repair. Now I find these magnetic extensions to be extremely handy, and I want to have those someplace where I can reach them easily. There. I have the drivers that fit them, and I can reach these. Having them back in the corner, they were over behind the punches. Rather awkward to get to. And this is prime real estate. This is where most of the work happens on the bench, right here in this area. And I want to be able to reach my tools easily and get to them. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know, I read them all. Thanks for watching.